All right. In today's class, we continue working with Microsoft Access database. For today's work, we'll open yesterday the file from the last time. Just a brief reminder, when we work together and we created a database file by importing data tables from other databases. We created a database for a landscaping company with customers, contract invoices, and we defined some relationships. These relationships we can always verify going to database tools and their relationships. If we can see these arrows with direction, now this is looking exactly like an arrow, right? With beginning and end. Okay, that's good. It means we successfully created one-to-many, so-called one-to-many relationships, and the logic was first we create customer list. From the customer list, we use the customer list, we make offers and we sign contracts, and after working on the contracts, we send invoices and customers start paying their bills. All right, so we just verify that the relationships we created are still existing. This is good, meaning we can use them. And don't forget, anytime we change anything in database structure, the program will ask to save. This time I change only the position on the screen, but this is also considered as a change, and that's why the program is asking me to save the changes in the layout. All right, what is our today's goal? After working with data tables and briefly introducing data tables and especially the data table fields format, which we can check in design view. That is a table open as a data table, and then we switch to design view. Here we can check data type or formats. We can edit, manage, and what is even more important, define primary key for the given data table. And after that, using this table together alone or together with other data tables for further data processing. One very common task in real life business when working with customer records or with customer data or any kind of databases is to ask a question about something in this database and develop a special tool which will return the answer of your question. This usually is referred to as a query, a database query. And there are two options similar to creating data tables. There are two options: to create a simple query using the wizard, or to create a query using the professional query design. So from data tables, we created data tables, we imported, and now in queries, we continue first by using the query wizard or a procedure similar to chapter 7, level 2 in our class, when we use a data list and we create a query which was kind of a simple query or query using a wizard. Why? Because as you see today, this is exactly what it's looking like. So first, we'll use query wizard, and of course, the whole next week, we'll concentrate and work on professional query design, which is the real power of Microsoft Access. But first of all, let's see how we can develop different queries, after that forms and even reports using wizards. Wizards is a simple procedure with very high level of automation. So when we open query wizard, we select first what kind of query we want to develop. Remember, if we don't want the simple query wizard, then we better use the query professional design, because everything besides the simple query is just modification, and it's much better to do it with the professional query design. And if we just want to use the query wizard, we just use it for simple query. Okay, so we start. Why Microsoft developed the others? Well, just improving. In the past, it was only simple query. Now, few more modifications. But as I told you, in my opinion, for many years, we either use the simple query wizard or everything else we create with the help of the professional query design. So, simple query wizard. Step number 2 is to select the data table and the data fields or columns. As you can see, we can change here the data table. And if we already have created relationships, then we can use all related tables as one and put fields, select fields from all of them in one query. Or, of course, we can use a single. Let's say we'll start quickly with customer, just customer. And suppose our goal is to ask a question or answer finding the company by city and their address. All right, so first we select company. It goes to the selected fields. Then we select, let's say, city. Not necessary to be in the same sequence. And then we select the address. If we want, we can add everything else, zip code, state. All right, let's say, and zip code. And if, for example, by mistake, I also edit email address, it's very easy. If we don't want something, we just select it and we take it off. We remove it from the selected fields. Once we select the fields, next step is to create the query, or we can open it and modify it in query design. But this is the professional way, and we'll do it later on. So when we just click open the query to view information, that's it. Meaning that the simple query we just created is part of the query customer. All right, we can create another that will be more advanced and more complex. So we go to query wizard again, simple query. Now we want to select data from different tables, fields from different tables. All right, so we select customer. From customer, we select company and city. Then from the table, so from customer, company, and city, from table, contract. we select contract type and contract amount. We can continue with invoices and so forth, but that's enough, because the more things we add, the more advanced and complex becomes the query, and it means we better start using query design, professional query design. Okay, so when we selected these fields, we continue with next. And what would you like to see? Detail or summary? Summary is like subtotals in Microsoft Excel, which when we collapse everything, this is the summary of the query. If we use detail, the program will show another query, which now contains more records because it's a combination of the table customers and table contracts. Very, very quickly, very, very fast approach, very, very easy. And of course, don't forget, we can, if we want to keep it, when we closing, we save it. As you can see here, the company by default already, the software already saved it. But if we want to change the name, we can use File, Save As we discussed last time. We can now save object as. All right, we can save it as it is or in different type of the object. In our case, we just want to save as using different name. Okay, so the copy of customer query will customers and contracts. Okay, no need of the word query. Why? You'll see why, because the program automatically, so it is because it's query type, the program will save it and will place it in the group of queries, and we close it. But it seems that the program already created similar, can you see? Absolutely the same work query or query table. And if we don't need it, then we simply select, right-click, and delete. Yes, we confirm. That's it. Very fast, very easy, but not enough for bigger, for deeper analysis. Well, of course, we'll learn how to do this. But before that, let's continue and check other objects, other modules we can create with the help of Microsoft Access. That is, we can develop forms and reports. What is a form? In Microsoft Excel, when working with Excel tables or data lists, we can also create a form which after that is very useful to add, edit, maintenance, search, and so forth, records, data from this data table. All right. And now we'll see the power and the purpose of relations. So if we go to customer, why to customer? Because customer is the leading data table according to our relationships. And if we just click on form, no need to select anything, just general form. The program creates or opens a new window where we can, at the bottom, at the taskbar, we can go record by record for each customer. Some customers have one, others have more contracts. Or if we want, we can jump to the end and create new blank form for the next customer. We can also use for searching and so forth, meaning with the help of forms, we can edit and manage better data tables, especially when these data tables are big. Or when we want to manage group of related data tables. What does it mean? Look, let me show you something. The top part of the window shows the customer data table from customer ID to email address. Let me open customer form, and you can see customer data table, and you can see here they are. Okay, then we have a sub form or sub window which shows the customer contracts. And here we can add new contract or edit existing contract and so forth. Meaning we have two task bars, one for customers and one for their contracts. And if we look more carefully, we'll see that next to each contract there is a plus sign, meaning, again, making the association with subtotals and groups in Excel, means that we can expand or collapse this area. That is, when we click, we see a new sub-window showing invoices in this contract. All right, so first, second contract, third contract. Yeah, and we can manage or we can enter here the new sub record. The conclusion, creating one general form for the leading data table allow managing all other related data tables, which, by the way, if we return to the data table customer in datasheet view, we can see that again next or before each record we have this plus sign, and with the help of the plus sign we can open the other data tables, contract and customers, and sorry, invoices. What is the conclusion? The conclusion is that when creating a relationship between different tables, we just relate them, we make them as one big data table, and we can manage using the leading data table or data form, we can manage all of them. Very, very useful when we want to work using all tables and all customer records. And of course, when we want to finish, we simply close, and close. The program will ask here to save form customer, and we'll save it with no name after customer, meaning no customer form. Why? Because the program will position it directly into the group forms. Last but not least, for our simple purpose, simple database management system, we'll go to create, and now we'll create a report. Report also could be developed in different ways. It will just, again, to see the advantage of the relationships, we'll create a general report on customer, the leading data table. What can we see here? Well, here we can see all records for different companies. And as a matter of fact, when using reports, there is no relation, meaning the relation is not presented and we cannot use sub-reports. There is not yet. Maybe Microsoft will create sub-reports, but right now, as there are sub-forms, but right now we have only customer, only reports. What we can do here, though it looks like print preview, we can see in view option that now we have not only view or report view and design view, we have also print preview and layout view. Print preview, which will help us to see how this will look like standard print preview we know from Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word. The rest, the layout view, help us to change the layout. For example, look, last name column width is too big and first name too. So if we go to layout view, here we can change the size of each field. And adjust this size so we can have them in one on one page. Well, if it doesn't work, then we can simply switch to landscape view, which, as you know, is wider than the portrait, and this will help us. Okay, what else we can change here? If we go to view and design view, as you can see here, we can change everything, including headers and footers. Headers and footers for the page only, and header and footer for the whole report. So this report header is, let's say, the cover page, where by default we see the date and time and the name of the worksheet. I'm sorry, data table. Worksheet in Excel. Here is the data table. And we can change this name. Let's say customer data table. All right. In the beginning is the logo. We can import here or copy paste different logos. Meaning, if our company has our own logo, let me quickly verify. I believe I have logos somewhere in my folders. If I can find, if not, I will not waste my time. Just willing to see if there is somewhere I had the Walla University logo. But probably I cannot find it. Nope. Or maybe if I open PowerPoint, I can copy paste. It doesn't matter where from. I can copy paste from everywhere. If I have, but I don't, it's not here. So anyways, the point was that I can copy paste a logo here from any final attempt. Excuse me, I will open Microsoft Paint. And in Microsoft Paint, I will check to see what is the the last picture that I saved. Okay, Microsoft, and here Windows, accessories, Paint. All right, file, open. Oh. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot find. Sorry for. I'm not wasting the time. Just trying to find a nice picture which I can use, but all these files are already erased, and I cannot find anyone to open. I just found a picture. Anyways, I'll use it. I'll show you. Just let me change the size. This is the chart from Gartner. Here it is. So it's not exactly related to what we are doing, but we can consider it as a logo. All right. So I will select this small. Okay. It's a kind of a picture. I will go here in the logo and will insert or copy paste my new logo. Of course, it's very easy to increase it or decrease it, and if I need, I can move or change the size. All right, so here is the size of the other elements, meaning if I need, I can make it bigger or smaller. And here in design and now layout view or print preview, I can see what I did. Well, it's not very good. Sorry, I forgot that I may need a picture to use as logos, so I just created one, doesn't matter what it is. And as you can see, in design view, we can manage, for example, we want to see in each page the page number. Oh, so we return, and now we go to page footer. Okay, page footer. Oh, in the page footer, there is already page number. For some reasons, the program doesn't show it. Okay, maybe it is too away from the borders, and that's why we cannot see it. And we can move it as much as we want. Okay, and adjust it. Let's see now again in print preview. Here it is. Yes, it was too far away, probably for landscape format. And now I see page 1 of 3, meaning with the help of reports, we can create a very, very well-looking report of our, well, actually any data table. And finally, we save it with the name we give or the same as it is. And briefly, in this way, we just learn how to create the basic forms in Microsoft Access, which are queries, forms, and reports. One small clarification, forms and reports are kind of a support tools. Queries is probably one of the most powerful modules and tools in Microsoft Access and databases. So we continue now developing more advanced and complex queries. That's it. We go back to create, and now we'll introduce, as I told you, the professional query design. Of course, before we start, it's a good idea to know what is the purpose, what is the goal. So let's say we want to create a query that will contain fields from all three data tables. Let's say customers and customer address and city from a customers data table, contract type and contract amount from the contract data table, and from invoices we'll use invoice amount, and what was the field? It was what is the invoice about. We'll check exactly the name when we start. Plus we'll also check to find out whether invoices are paid or not. Well, for this purpose, we select query design. Now, as you can see, it is looking slightly different, and it's not exact. Is the simple query wizard, and at the right side we see a menu showing the tables, which table we want to be presented. So if we want, in our case, all three of them, we'll go and one by side, drag and drop. Okay, we will show these tables in the table window. As you can see, it looks very similar to relationship window, but here is the purpose. The purpose is to help us designing and then developing queries. We cannot change here the relationships, but we can see if there is a relationship, meaning whether we can use these data as one big data table. So this is step number 1 in professional query design, to select tables, data tables that we want to use. One important note: don't select all tables if you're not going to use all of them. Sometimes these may cause some problems in Microsoft Access. Remember, database management systems are very complex tools, and sometimes they are very sensitive, meaning they may perform or behave, I would say, in a different way when we use something that it is not necessary for the specific task. All right, so we selected the 3 tables. We need all 3 of them. That's why we selected all 3, and now we start. We said company. Company, that is company name, is the first field. How to add a field from a table in the query design grid. Design grid is the second part here at the bottom. The fastest way is just to click. You can drag and drop, but it's even faster if you quickly click 2 times. Here it is. Company, it goes there. We also said we want address or city first and then address. Quickly 2 times on city, then address. Then we said contract type, contract amount. Can you see how easy it is? Then contract invoice item and invoice amount, an invoice paid or not. Okay, I'll summarize again them if I was too fast. So from customer data table, we need company and city and address. Company, city, address. From contract data table, we need contract type, contract amount. Contract type, contract amount. From invoice, we need invoice item, invoice amount, and invoice paid or not. We can hear something very important. We can simulate or run query even before it's ready, just to verify that it's working by using this red exclamation symbol from the ribbon. We click, program runs and shows, aha, we see here columns, fields from different data tables. Another click, we return to design view. Suppose that we also want to see the signing date of the contract and we forgot to use it. Not a problem. We go back to contract, select signing date and click twice, and it is here. And when we run, yes, it is available. But we want to have it, not in the end. We want to have it immediately before contract type. Well, we simply select the field, position with the mouse in the small top rectangular, press and hold on the mouse button and move. Can you see this way? We are moving the field. And when you are done, release the mouse. And here, signing date was moved from last one now between address and contract type. When we run again, we'll see that it is here. Very good. Now, we can save it and we can continue. How to continue? All right, first, let's save it. Just in case, because believe me, Microsoft Access is very often behaving, let's say, strange or makes mistakes. So it's a good idea every now and then to save your work. By closing the query, the program will ask, this is the fastest way to save it. Believe me, sometimes save as, it's not working well. But closing and saving is working always. So we say yes, and we give it name, we give it customers with large contracts. And here we have this query. But we will see, you can say immediately, wait a second, these are not large contracts, these are all contracts. Yes, I know. So right now we can select only those with large contracts. How? Don't look at the data table. Though we can sort them, let's say, from the largest to the smallest. Can you see? But this is temporary. If we use the design view, here we can have in sort. Can you see sort row on the ribbon? And we go to contract amount. And here we select descending. Now, unless we change this sorting option every time, so we can close the query, save it, of course, and now every time we open it, it will always be sorted descending by contract amount. That is, sorting option in query design grid is permanent unless we change it. No need every time to select how to sort our data when we run a query. Second, we said that we want only customers with large contract. What is a large contract? Let's say with contract, let's first run, I don't remember the numbers. Oh, we can say contracts above $50,000. All right. Customers with contract larger than $50,000. Now, remember the presentation I prepared for you for advanced filtering in Microsoft Excel. And we created a special area we call data range, we call criteria. And we use to sort data in the data list with the help of this criteria. In Microsoft Access, it's not necessary to create such a range because it exists, it's here. Can you see the bottom two rows of the design grid? So if we want to select, let's say, only one criteria, we go and use criteria row. Okay? Contract amount. Our criteria is greater than $50,000. Well, Access uses the same operators as Microsoft, Excel. So we just enter here greater than 50,000. Greater than 50,000. And to verify, we run. Oh, can you see? Only companies with contract amount greater than 50,000 remain in the list. I want also to show you something. When we run the query and present it in data sheet view or data table view, we can not only sort, but we can, like in subtotals, in groups in Microsoft Excel, we can add totals, and also in data lists, we can add totals at the bottom of the table. So we just click and new row total appears. Here we can count, let's say, contracts. What are the number of contracts? Well, this is not exactly, yes, actually this is the number of contracts, not the number of companies, because you can see some companies have more than one contract. So if we select here in contract type field or column, the menu, the only thing, because it's text variable, we can count 19 contracts. We can here sum the total sum of all large contracts. Or we can, let's say, compute the mean paid invoice in this list. So average will return this mean value. Very, very useful. Though, as you can see very soon, in design view, on the design grid, we can have even more totals or more statistical functions, because this totals option in design view is different than the totals on the ribbon in data table view. Okay, so remember this. Now we are ready and we can save, close, and save this query. customers with a large contract. Now, suppose we want to use the same or very similar query presenting not customers with large contracts, but something else. Meaning we need the same, absolutely the same fields, but the filter we are going to apply will be different. So then we can simply right click on customers with large contracts, right click, select copy, then right click in the navigation pane somewhere in the blank path and click paste. Here comes the paste as or save as menu and option. What does it mean? Here we must select the name of the new query. It was customers with large contracts. Okay, now we can say, we can call it customers with large contracts after June. I don't remember what years are here. That's why I will say after June in the current year. Okay, customers with large contracts after June. Let's open it. Here we see all customers with large contracts. And if we go to design view, here we identify that these are customers with a large contract. After June means that we have here a logical operator AND. That is a large amount of the contract and signed after the June. What is after the June? Meaning any date greater than June the 30th. That's it. We go to signing date and enter another operator here. And as we did in Microsoft Excel, to have logical operator AND, we must place both operators at the same row criteria. And how to place operator after? Well, it's simply greater than, and we enter here greater than 07/30/2011. This was the date. That is, now the new query will select and display only contract signed after June 30th and a large amount, meaning and bigger than $50,000. Let's verify. Run. Can we see anything before June? Nope. Are there contracts smaller than $50,000? No. There are only 4 of them. All right, suppose we are skeptics. We can go back. We can erase. Can you see, by the way, the program immediately edit something that is, it means some separators when using time as a criteria. I will erase it. Why? You see very soon. And we'll run the query and we'll now sort. My Microsoft Access behaves strangely, but still working. So we'll sort them from oldest to newest. No, from newest to oldest. Okay. How many? Why I'm doing this? To see and to count how many are before or after June. So everything is before June 30th. Everything above is after June 30th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, exactly what we found when we use criteria greater than 07/30/2011. We run. Yes, 4 contracts, large contracts signed after June 30th. Okay, we can save and close. And as a final, because we started working with date and time, I want also to show you something else. Let's copy paste again customers with large contracts. Right click, copy, large, right click, paste. And now we'll call these customers with large contract between, or actually this is not necessary to clarify, we call them in June, only in June. Customer with large contracts in June only. Okay. We open here again the initial data table and query that contains customers with large contracts. As we can see here in June, they are here in June 2010 and 2011, there are several. We did not clarify, but let's say we want to, can we make in both? Yeah, but it will be too complicated. That's why we'll stay with only 1 year, let's say 2010. That is, for signing date, we have to enter if we were in Excel, 2 criteria. Less than June 1st and greater than June 30th. In Microsoft Access, there are more logical operators. We can enter between and the 2 dates, between 0, 6. I use 7, July. Oh, excuse me. So it was July, not June. We'll fix it in a second. So it will be between 06, 01, 2010 and, meaning between 06, 01, 2010 and 06, 30th. Well, no, must be 07 first, 07, 01, 2011. Okay, let's run. What can we see here? Strangely, the program shows also from May. Let's go and verify again. Okay, it says between 06, the operator is, I will increase, between 0, oh, because I entered the second operator is 2011. Okay, so between 1st June 2010 and 1st July 2010, and we run. Now we can see only in June 2010. We can save it, but before we save it, let's open after June and fix the mistake, because right now it's after July, and that means we'll change 7 to 6, and now it will be greater than 6 month, 30th day, and 2011. Again, 4 only, but now we are sure that it's after June 30th, 2011. And we can close these. We save. Then with large contracts in June, let's return to see. That means between June 1st and July 1st, 2010. So we can run if you want to verify and close and save. And before we finish today's work, again, to remind you, every time before we exit, it's good idea to go to File menu, Info, compact and repair our database, at least to minimize its size, and then close it. Empty the clipboard. Yes, I don't need the clipboard anymore. And as a final step, don't forget to submit today's file again in Microsoft Access in class folder on D2L, meaning this week, next week, all files here. But let me remind you something. No matter that the due date is shown to be May 14, the due date for every day, I will show you, is the same day. Here, instructions. Due date, same day after the particular topic is done. So don't wait to submit all of them on Thursday next week. The chance that you'll get late homework penalty or in-class work is very, very high. So don't forget, save your work and submit, no matter that it will be with the same name. You can submit as many files as you want, even with the same name. The program will accept them because they are submitted at different time. Time here is the criteria when program is using to upload data, to save data. So that's all for today. I will stop recording.